Hey, how's it going? Finally, a video for this weekend. Yeah. Yeah, I thought I'd burn the old bowl. Yeah. There's just something unique and special about this old guy. I love the old paint and the grime on it. Can kind of see it, right? Yeah. Bowl 275. Yeah, it's a great piece. Let that sit there so you can enjoy it with me. Yeah. And you can actually see me. It's a bright lantern. It really is. It's a beautiful old cold blast, and this thing was turnkey. I've done nothing to it except for put maybe a more proper globe, one that I like better. It's got some amethyst tint to it, yeah. But it's a great performer. It really is. Burns like a champ. Just got a little bullseye flake in here. It's nice stuff. Anyway, this has been me this weekend. The missus ran off to Tucson to see her family. And I decided to hang back here and, just have some Abby and Rob time and see a few friends and do a little guy hangout stuff, barbecue a steak here and there. Yeah, it was very nice. She comes home tomorrow, so I'll be there, Johnny on the spot at LAX to pick her up. Yeah. So before then, I'm going to have a nice stiff drink tonight so I prepare myself for going to LAX. Oh, yeah. It's not my favorite place to go. No, it's not. Historically and currently, it is known as the worst airport. At least in California, it's a pain in the neck. Thing wants to die on me. Anyway. So, we're burning a nice little lantern. We got some free time tonight. I didn't get a chance to come out here and do any content on Friday. It was a very hot day, and I got consumed with clearing out some stuff. And I decided to work out here and organize some things and get rid of a few things. So yeah, did that. Consolidation and letting things go. Selling a few things and just donating some other things. So it's good. It is. It really is. Come on. I'm going to have to relight this. I don't want it to be stupid. Give me a second here. Don't choke up on that too much. That's better. So, I wanted to talk about some different type of topics tonight, different subject matter, things that maybe you'll find interesting or fascinating, or maybe you'll laugh and unsubscribe. I don't know. Anyways, continuing. There's a lot of time that I spend late at night, and I think about things. I think about, well, of course, people in my life and people I care about and value naturally, as we will do from time to time. I also think of the things that I possess, or the things that possess me. It can be that way. When you're a collector, you kind of feel possessed by your collection, your possessions, and that it's a delicate balance. You're focused on cleaning and preening and fixing and maintaining stuff that doesn't do that for you. It's a very one-way or one-sided relationship, especially with an antique car. It really is. No, I'm kidding. It's not a one-way relationship. It's not that way at all, because, well, whatever I put into that car, it gives back to me. And this car has been very, very loyal since I've ironed out some of the kinks. You know, it's interesting about automobiles. Some people have asked, oh, do you think your car's haunted? Do you think items or inanimate objects can be possessed or have an energy about them from their earlier owners? Or, you know, well, let me break it down. I do, to a point, because, well, what we see is just a hunk of steel, of cast iron and glass, more or less, right? Well, at least my car is. Your car might be mostly plastic. That's fine. No judgments. But anyways, it takes people to create and design the concepts and the engineering and all that. It goes through a whole long process before it becomes a drivable car. The same way it was back in those days. Yeah. I think the human energy is a powerful thing that we underestimate a lot. I think a lot of people like to just discredit it because, well, let's face it, the human race can be a terrible thing. And sometimes it can be a wonderful thing. We definitely are seeing a pendulum shift. And, but yeah, not going to deviate from my original intent, but a car, just some ordinary old car. You know, it took people to create it and design it, and it took people to sell it. They put themselves into that. And of course, there's motivation to sell a car. They want to make money themselves so they can support their lifestyle, their family, whatever. And then they sell a car to somebody who's looking for an automobile. And to most Americans, or most people in the world for that matter, an automobile is freedom. It's a ticket to explore, to travel on your own. And that's an exciting thing. So when somebody purchases a car, especially in that era back in the 40s, that was a big deal. I mean, a car like mine started at $795 when the annual income was around $1,500. You know, or maybe I should say $15,000 annually. I think the average American would make $10,000 to $15,000 yearly, middle class man, single, you know, family car type of deal. So $795, that was a ticket. You know, that was a car payment. That was money. And making that purchase and investing in yourself, or, you know, having a car for the family, that was a big deal. It was. And having a brand new shiny car right before World War II. Well, they didn't know it at the time, but they saw the clouds gathering. They knew something was up. But anyhow, having a brand new car was a very exciting thing. Still is. It's still an exciting thing for most people. And, well, that's an energy, excitement and joy and enthusiasm. That's energy. And we put it into these machines, and I think it stays. I think the metal has a memory of the energy that it was exposed to, and I feel that it does. And whether it's an old lantern or even an old tobacco pipe, it has a memory of its history. You know, sure, it's just a carved piece of wood, a shaped piece of metal and parts, or glass and tin, but there's atoms, molecules, it's science. You break it down under a high-powered microscope, it doesn't look like what it is, what we see it. It's science. And those things are moving at a very fast rate, and, you know, they're alive. So I think our energy can be transferred to items. Of course, there's those who are skeptical and would say that I'm full of beans. That's your right. It's your right to say that. But I would definitely say that I've experienced energy in items. A friend of mine has something that belonged to his father that his father liberated during World War II. And it's a pair of aviator goggles that came off of a Japanese pilot in the Pacific. And he told me the story of how his father acquired these. And there was a pilot that was downed and he was deceased. So, as most GIs did back in those days during the war, they would take souvenirs. You can have your own opinion about that. We know that, both sides have their crimes. Definitely some greater than others. But, they did it. And that's why we have these pieces of history today, is because they did what they did. Anyhow, but he showed me these goggles, and he also showed me the Japanese flag that these pilots would be given with good luck messages and wishes from their family and fellow pilots and whatnot. And that's a very powerful thing. There was a lot of emotion that was poured into the war, especially those individuals who fought it and their families. And to look at these goggles, there was remains on the goggles, like bloodstains. And technically that's remains. And one lens was cracked and stained, and the other was intact and not stained. But, I felt an energy about those. I felt it. I felt something when it floored me. It really did. When I held those goggles, excuse me, when I held those goggles, I thought about the pilot, and I thought about all of the trauma involved in crashing a plane, and it was there. I was floored. I was almost brought to tears. I was shaking. There's things that we encounter, historical value or nature, that do have something connected to them. At another friend's house, he's got many collectibles of World War II and whatnot, and I spent the night at his house several times, and I've experienced things that I can't explain, like the sound of change and a change dish being jostled around or moved around on a nightstand in the middle of the night for no reason, and I'm the only one in there and no one else. Yeah. DVD player or VHS tapes just turning on by themselves. Lights turning on or turning off. Interesting things like that. True story. This is special, so please pay attention. A number of years ago, when I was a stage manager at the Cicada restaurant in downtown LA, which is previously known as the Oviatt building. It's still known as the Oviatt building, but there's a restaurant called Cicada in the main floor, the first floor. This is the historic level. It was originally a men's department store that sold the finest suits, shirts, and accessories in Los Angeles and also Beverly Hills. I know the history of James Oviatt, the owner and proprietor, founder of the Oviatt department store, or men's furnishing haberdashery, if you will. He was an interesting guy. I have a few things in common with him. I'll share it at another date, but one night while the show was wrapping up, I was upstairs, and a friend of mine was working the spotlight and the live feed. They used to have a live feed so you could watch it on the internet if you couldn't make it there. I was upstairs talking with my friend, and we both noticed a certain smell. And this is upstairs on the mezzanine of this building in downtown LA. And there's no smoking allowed inside the building. You can smoke in the lobby, but we are far away from the doors and the lobby. We're upstairs on the mezzanine, and to smell tobacco smoke there would be next to impossible. What I smelled was not just tobacco smoke, it was pipe smoke. It was the smell of a kind of a vanilla or cherry type of flavored pipe tobacco. I know what that smells like. And that evening, I was the only one there that actually smokes a pipe. No one else. And we both smelt this aroma of pipe smoke. Well, I told a friend of mine this story, and he kind of just smiled and he says, "Oh, James Oviatt was near you. He was around you. He was his presence is there." And there's been numerous accounts where people would go up to the penthouse that he used to live in, and no one lives there now. It's kind of a space where it's rented out for events and parties and functions, right? It's beautiful. It's a beautiful spot. It really is. Has lots of Lalique glass and expensive Art Deco appointments from 1929, 1930. But people have smelt the smell of pipe smoke up there, and so to smell it on the mezzanine in the old department store, it's really hard to deny that. You know, I really do feel that the human spirit is a powerful thing, and we underestimate it a lot. And people often say, "Oh, you think there's an afterlife?" Well, I'm not sure if there's an afterlife per se. I would say that our spirits continue in some way. I like to think that there's something beyond this life. I was raised to believe that. I still do hold that in mind. But you know, our minds are weak and feeble and very incapable of grasping a lot of things that maybe the powers that be wish us not to know, at least fully. So we have to exercise some sort of faith, I guess. But I get touches of things like that indicate that there is a veil and there is something else beyond that we don't see. And some people do see it. Some people have a gift, and they experience things that not everybody does. And is it fair to discount their experiences because somebody else doesn't? Nobody's the same. We're all different. None of us are equals. It's true. We all have different capabilities and talents and strengths and weaknesses. That's what makes us unique. It really does. But anyways, I'm sorry if I'm just rambling, but I thought I'd share that story, or stories rather, with you guys, and by some lantern light, share some interesting concepts, experiences. Yeah, I'm going to think of a few more that I've experienced, and I'll write them down and prepare them for Halloween, because I would like to do a content on Halloween or Halloween weekend anyways. I usually am busy on Halloween, but we'll see what we can do. At least I'll prepare one and upload it on the 31st of October, which is, about a month away. Well, 2 months rather. It's getting close, I'll tell you that. We're looking at September now. So with that being said, have a great night. Hope you enjoyed the video. This will be our Monday content. I won't have time on Monday. If I do by any chance, I will make another video, but I hope this suffices. I hope you have a wonderful evening and the rest of your week, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.